Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to factor polynomial, different kind of polynomials. Okay, so the first example here, you have a polynomial of degree 4 made out of 4 terms. Okay, and what we notice here with that polynomial is that the ratio, if you notice, the ratio of the first two coefficients, which is here, of the first two coefficients, which is 3 over 3, is equal to the ratio of the last two coefficient, which is 1 over 1. Or basically, you end up with, because 3 divided by 3 simplified to 1. Okay, 1 over 1, which is 1. So both sides are the same ratio. So we can either factor by grouping or by using the box method. But first, before we factor by grouping or using the box method, okay, do you notice here a common factor? What do I call a common factor? It's a factor or number that is common in each terms, in all 4 terms. Okay, and here the greatest common factor cannot be 3 because you only have the coefficient 3 for the first 2 terms, not the last one. So it cannot be 3, but it's going to be a variable x, and the variable x is going to be the greatest common factor is going to be just x. So okay, so I'm going to factor out x. So what am I going to write inside the factor? Inside the parentheses here, after the x, after pulling out the x. So basically, I'm going to take each term and divide it by x. Or basically take the exponent and you minus 1. That's the division by x does. You subtract the exponent. So 3 x to the 4th power divided by x will give me just 3x cubed. Okay, now 3x to the cube divided by x will give me 3x squared. So it should be plus 3x squared. And x squared divided by x will give me plus 1x. And x divided by 1 will give me just 1. Okay. Now, again, the ratio of the coefficient of the first 2 terms, okay, which is 3 over 3, is equal to the ratio of the coefficient of the last 2 terms, which is 1 over 1. So I can do grouping here. We can keep factoring this by doing grouping. How would you do then the grouping? So you're going to draw a box, the boxing or grouping. Let me do the box method. So you draw a box made of 4 square like this. And inside the top left, always write 3x cubed, the term with the highest exponent, and the bottom right, the constant. And I'm going just to fill in the rest. So now I have to find out what is the greatest common factor here for the first row. Yeah, it's going to be 3x squared. If both numbers have the same variables, x, always use a variable that has the lowest exponent, the lowest power. For those 2 examples, the one with the lowest power is x squared. So I pull out x squared outside. And because the number 3 is being multiplied in both term, I pull out 3. So now x and 1. There's no number in common. So is it going to be 0? No, it cannot be 0. So if you don't see any number in common, it's always going to be the number 1. Okay? Because the factor of x is x times 1, and the factor of 1 is 1 times 1. So 1 is a common factor in both. And then the first column is going to be 3x. No, not 3x, just x, sorry. Because this x here doesn't have a 3. Okay, the 3 is not common. So it's just going to be the lowest power is here is x to the first power. And here is just going to be 1, the second column. So let's multiply across and check. 3x squared times x is 3x cubed. 3x squared times 1 is 3x squared. 1 times x is 1x, or it's just x, and 1 times 1 is 1. So we factor. So whatever expression is on the side, that's going to be the factor. So the first one is going to be 3x squared plus 1, and the second one is going to be x plus 1. Okay? And I notice there's no difference of 2 square or sum of 2 squares. So we can just stop here. This is the factor form of this polynomial of degree 4. We are done factoring. Okay, so let's move on to example number 2. So here is example number 2. Okay, please pause the video, and I would like you to take the time and solve this polynomial function of degree 4. Okay, please pause the video and factor. this polynomial. Okay, so I factor it. Okay, so the factor is going to be x times x squared minus 3 times 5x plus 1. Okay, so I hope you got the same answer. If you didn't get the same factor, maybe you did a mistake somewhere around here, either using the box method or by factoring out the x. Okay, so the next example is y equal 2x to the 4th power minus x cubed minus 15x squared. Okay. Again, there is a common factor. So what is a common factor? The factor that is repeated in the term 15x squared, x cubed, and 2x to the 4th power. And that is, you're correct, x squared. Okay. So what am I going to write here? So 2x to the 4th power divided by x squared is going to be 2x squared. And negative x cubed divided by x squared is going to be negative x. And then negative 15x squared divided by x squared is going to be just negative 15. Okay. So now, if you notice now, inside the parentheses, we don't have a degree 3. We have a degree 3 polynomial, but you have a quadratic expression here in the second factor. So now, let's see if this expression is factorable. What I mean by factorable, can you think of two numbers that add to the middle terms, and that middle term, the number in front of x is represent b, and the number in front of x is -1, and the same two number needs to multiply to 2a times c. 2 times -15 is going to be -30. Okay, so can you think of two numbers? Always use a product first. Can you think of two numbers that multiply to -30 and add to -1? Okay, and I can think only two numbers. I believe it's going to be 6 and 5. Okay, but because the product is negative, so one of them has been negative. Okay, but in a sense, is this the sum is negative, means the bigger number needs to be negative. Okay, so what am I going to do? So I'm going to focus on factoring this expression 2x squared minus x minus 15, or if you want, you can put a 1 here, minus 1x. Then I'm going to replace the middle term by the two new numbers. So it's going to be negative 6x, okay, plus 5x. And I'm going to bring down the negative 15. Then after that, you're going to factor by using the box method, because you have now 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 terms, so and then you see the ratio, okay, of the first two coefficient is the same as the ratio of the last two coefficient. So you can do the box method, or you can do by grouping. So since I already used the box method for the first two examples, I'm going to use the method by grouping. So I am going to group okay. Okay, so I factor it to x minus 3 times 2x, the factor 2x plus 5. So let me go back here. So remember, we started with x squared times 2x squared minus x minus 15. So remember, we factor this, the second factor, as x minus 3 times 2x plus 5. And that's the final work. Okay, so this is it. So thank you for watching my video on factoring polynomial, part 1. Okay, in the next video, I'm going to show you another different kind of polynomials, okay? And show different ways of factoring as well. So thank you for watching my video. Have a wonderful day and see you until the next one. Bye-bye.